Questions you should ask a client before you start creating your design. These questions are very important. They determine the type of design that you want to create for your clients. The first question you have to ask is, what is the size of your land? The size of the land will determine the type of design that you have to create on the land. If the size of the land is small, let's say the size of the land is 50 by 100, and you created a design that can occupy a space of 100 by 100, that is to tell you that you cannot be able to fit in that design into a 50 by 100 plot of land, because it will definitely not be okay for that plot of land. It will be more, the building will be even be more than the size of the plot, which is very, very wrong. So it is very important for you to make inquiry to know the size of the plot of your land, so as to determine the dimension, the size of your architectural building plan, the size of the plan that you have to create for the design. To be able to determine the size of a building for a given plot, you have to consider the various setbacks. Setback at the back of the building, then at the side of the building, the two sides of the building, what's the setbacks, then at the front of the building, that's offset from the road to the building line, that's from the road, the offset distance that is supposed to be there, the minimum distance. You have to know the minimum distance for these various setbacks, because it is very important. Because if your setbacks does not meet town planning regulation, they will not accept it, and it will be very, very bad for the design. So those setbacks, minimum distance, is very important. You can go above the setbacks, the minimum distance for the setbacks, but it should not be less than the minimum distance. These are the things that you have to consider when you are creating your design. It should meet up with town planning regulations. They have their rules on the minimum distance for every of the setbacks, so you have to consider that. And also the area built, percentage built, area unbuilt. So those are the things that you have to consider during your construction. The area built should not be more than half of the area of plots. So there are various, you must meet up with town planning regulations. Is very important for any building design, for any building construction. Regulations must be abide with. The next question you have to ask the client is, has the plot been surveyed? Because survey plan is very important when it has to do with the design of your plot, because the survey will determine the boundary of the plot. It is easier for you to plot your design on survey plan, because survey plan will determine the behavior of the land, because not all land are square. So land can have very funny shape, which you cannot be able to detect by looking at the plot with your eye. That's why survey plan comes in, and it will make your design to be easy. And when you do square your building inside your plot, you can be able to tell the distance offset from the edges of your building to the line of your plot, because there are some land that the way the behavior of the land will not be square at all, and when you place your building inside, most times it will, the distance from the plot line and the building will be very small, that you have to keep on reducing it. So it's very important for you to know. If not, if you do not work with your survey plan, you'll be thinking that the building can enter inside the plot, not knowing that the behavior of the plot will affect the positioning of your building inside your plot, because it will, most times it will go out of the plot line, or there will be no space from the plot line to the edge of the building. So that is why it's very important for you to have a survey plan, because survey plan is very important. It will help you during your site plotting of your building, of your plan inside your plot. already created your design thinking that it will enter inside the plot without the use of survey plan. On getting to site and you decide to construct your building, during construction and find out that the space between your plot, the edges of your building and your plot is very small, see that will lead to stress and you creating another design that can be able to enter the plot while in the site. Most times when you've already they've already started the digging of the foundation and all that, that will be waste of labor and waste of time and stress as well. So that's why it's very important for you to have your survey plan. The next question to ask your client is the type of building that your client wants. You do not have to just assume that this is what your client wants. It's very important for you to ask questions on the type of design that your client wants before you start creating your design. Ask your client if he or she has an idea of how the interior or the exterior of his or her design wants to be, because some clients may have an idea, they have something in their mind, they have a picture of how they want the interior and the exterior wants to be. So it's very important for you to ask that question. Ask if him or her has any pictorial representation of what the person wants. Sometimes the person might have an interior idea of what he or she wants. That will make design to be much more easier for you. Then you are working with what the client wants. If not, you keep on repeating your design and creating designs that the client does not want. So it's very important for you to ask questions, especially this very part is very important, so that you have an idea of what the client wants and you can create your design according to what he or she wants. Some clients may have an idea of the size of their living room, the size of their bedroom, the size of the space that they want, but provided the size that they want is not less than the minimum size, standard size that is required for each of the space. If it's less than the standard size, tell the person that it is not possible for that size. This is the minimum space that is required for a certain space. So let them know, so that you can convince them as well and let them know this is what it is and you cannot go below the standard. You can measure out the space of the measurement of a given space with the use of your measuring tape to show the client the distance of what you want to create on the design. You can take your measurement and show it to the client so that the client will know that if the space is too small or if it's too big for the client, because some measurement might be on a standard, will be standard measurement, but the client will want something that is bigger. So you have to make use of your measuring tape to show the client. Well, you cannot be showing the client every of the measurement of the space. So you make use of measuring tape and show the client the measurement. That the fact that we have minimum standard size of a space does not mean that you have to be working with the minimum standard size. You can work above the minimum distance measurements. The last question you have to ask your client is there any written documents on the land, deed of transfer between the buyer and the seller? Some persons might get their lands from the community direct, so there will be an Obas approval. But even if the person did not get the land directly from the community, there is a deed of transfer and also Obas approval from the first person that bought the land from the community. So these papers are very important: Obas approval, deed of transfer.